scientists have developed a groundbreaking achromatic lens for X-rays. This allows the X-ray beams to be accurately focused on a single point even if they have different wavelengths. The new lens will make it much easier to study nanostructures using X-rays, according to a paper just published by the researchers in the scientific journal Nature Communications. Achromatic lenses are essential for producing sharp images in photography and optical microscopes. They ensure that different colors, that is, light of different wavelengths, have a common focal point. To date, however, achromatic lenses have not been available for X-rays, so that high-resolution X-ray microscopy has only been possible with monochromatic X-rays. In practice, this means that all other wavelengths have to be filtered out of the X-ray beam spectrum, and hence only a small portion of the light can effectively be used, resulting in a relatively inefficient image capturing process. A team of scientists from PSI, Switzerland, have now solved this problem by successfully developing an achromatic X-ray lens for X-rays. Since X-rays can reveal much smaller structures than visible light, the innovative lens will particularly benefit R&D work in sectors such as microchips, batteries, and material science, among others. The fact that it took until now to develop an achromatic lens for X-rays may at first seem surprising. For visible light, achromatic lenses have been around for over 200 years. These are usually composed of two different materials. The light penetrates the first material and splits into its spectral colors, much like when passing through a conventional glass prism. It then passes through a second material to reverse this effect. In physics, the process of separating different wavelengths is called dispersion. This basic principle applied in the visible range does not work in the X-ray range, however. For X-rays, no pair of materials exist for which the optical properties differ sufficiently over a broad range of wavelengths for one material to counterbalance the effect of the other. In other words, the dispersion of materials in the X-ray range is too similar. So, instead of looking for answer in the combination of two materials, the scientists linked together two different optical principles. The researcher says that the trick was to realize that they could position a second refractive lens in front of their diffractive lens. The research group uses established nanolithography methods to produce diffractive lenses. However, for the second element in the achromatic lens, the refractive structure, a new method was needed which has only recently become available. That is 3D printing on the micrometer scale. This ultimately enabled the team to produce a shape that vaguely resembles a miniature rocket. The newly developed lens enables the leap from research application to X-ray microscopy in commercial use, for example in industry. Synchrotron sources generate X-rays of such high intensity that it is possible to filter out all but a single wavelength while still preserving enough light to produce an image. However, synchrotrons are large-scale research facilities. To date, R&D staff working in the industry are allocated a set beam time to conduct experiments at synchrotrons at research institute, including the Swiss light source SLS at PSI. This beam time is extremely limited, expensive, and requires long-term planning. Industry would like to have much faster response loops in their R&D processes. The researcher says that their achromatic X-ray lens will help enormously with this. It will enable compact X-ray microscopes that industrial companies can operate on their own premises.